Hi, it is the Human Operating System time. This channel is for education and technology. So after I share my video on the example of 1850s Wing Chun to the details, break down every piece, I have many Wing Chun friends contacted me. And one of the questions asked is, why don't I talk about Jing in that video, where I talk about different sections, what one learned according to the age model. So today I'd like to share with you, why don't I talk about the Jing? Now, beside this asking about Jing, and there are some Wing Chun friends who is really nice, who give me a suggestions, actually not just one, a few. You say, well, Hendrik, why don't you make it a group, private group, like most people do today, so that they pay you monthly, and then you're going to share your video more, they can learn more. Well, in this case, I like to tell the entire world. Number one, I am here for sharing, presenting what is the reality of ancient Chinese culture and ancient Wing Chun culture. So you pay me or not, I share with you what exactly it is. Okay? There's no point for me to make a website so that every month you pay me, then you watch my video, or in YouTube I show a little bit, and then in my website I show more to you. There's no point to do that, because this is an education. This is not selling software or apps where every month I milk your money. This is education. Like you go to school, you study a subject, you pay, and then you learn it in 1 semester, 2 semesters, and that's it. Not everybody keeping paying, and don't know when the thing is going to end. Okay? That's education. Now, of course, I only can spend 30 minutes or 1 hour talk here, and there are so many details. So for those who really like to find out even more in-depth detail, can go buy my books and look at it, because those are written as a textbooks. Okay? So there's no string attached here. Like, hey, you become the member, you have to pay me this much every month, and so forth, so forth. No. What you see is what you get. What you get is what you see. And so for the details is in the book. Whoever interested in it can get the book. If you don't, that's fine. Okay? So that is the mindset of educations. Not to keep certain thing a little secret, or tell you, oh, you have a problem. And I'm the grandmaster student or blah, blah, blah. But never tell you anything. I want to show you what it is, because my goal is education, which is solving problem. Okay, that's very different than making a business out of like selling the software, meditation software, right? That you pay every month and those kind of stuff. Okay, they can do their stuff, and everybody is free to do their business, but here we do the education, okay, like in the university, right? So there are no critics on those who like to do that, but we want to run like the university. Now, some ask me again and again, do I teach? Well, let me share with you. Decades ago, I teach for free. People used to come to my home in weekend. Okay? And there are so many grandmasters study with me. At that time, it's free. However, when people get things free, they don't do homework. Okay? And also, there are many grandmasters come see me, you know what they want to do? They just become a buy and sell businessman. They learn what I teach him a little bit, they go sell outside there. Did they develop their body? No. So after that, I only coach, not teach, coach a few, which is who is really willing to put the work on. And I charge them like in university. Okay, university, if you take one credit, how much it was charged? Well, I just a hobby to help people. But if I don't take money, you don't learn. So I just make it like education, okay? And also, it's like the university. Not too many people can graduate, complete the work. Some have to do what? Like there's a guy the other day just want to learn the Xiu Lim Tao sets. Just the Xiu Lim Tao set itself of 1850, it takes 2 years and 6 months to complete it. On and off, repeat, do this, repeat, do that, repeat, do that. So that is the reality, okay? The real guy who wants to learn the real thing and behave properly with quality is not the mass. Mass of us do not want to do that because mass of us don't want to get that deep, okay? So no, I'm not having a school. I'm not charging like 10,000 euro you buy C to me. I treat the entire thing like university. So those people who study with me, like for example, this guy who studied with me for 2.5 years just for the Xiu Lim Tao sets. Of course, you have to take the other classes before the prerequisite, otherwise you cannot handle this. Even though he spent 2.5 years, he is not going to go advanced like be able to fly, but he be able to do whatever in that writing of 1850. He know what it is. Okay, exactly, he can perform that. It's like if you go to the physics class, you don't have to be Sir Isaac Newton, but you know what it is on the physics. So that is the notions of educations. You need people who is dedicated so that they know what it is. They can work on it. But mass of us, most of us do not like to do that. Most of us like to treat it like a recreations, okay? So this is the reality. I don't own a school. I don't open a school like this. I'm not the grandmaster. I'm coaching as the people, if it's the right person, and with the goal of to really get people to know what they are doing. Okay? So I'm not intend to open a school like that, to teach like that. Teaching art in university, I love that, but not open a martial arts school. Okay? That's why this channel is for culture. And people study meditations and so forth with me too, the same thing. But only I teach those who really like to learn. Need to put the work on it. Like if you go to college, you better put your time on that, okay? Okay, so you know my bottom line on this. There's no secret. It must have no secret, or else we're going to screw the entire ancient Wing Chun. It's just in the past few weeks, you see many people try to use Wing Chun's name, ancient Wing Chun's name, to do all kinds of stuff. But does their body condition to do that, like I showed you yesterday in my video? Well, I'm not the grandmaster, but it's like everybody who go through the engineering school. You need to be able to walk your talk. Like when you need to get a job in the engineering or in the Silicon Valley, you get to go through the interview and you really need to know what you are talking about. Okay? Not just title, not just presenting who is your professor. It doesn't matter. Can you solve the problem? Okay? So that is the bottom line. Whatever I share with you, I have to be able to walk my talk. I have to be able to coach you to get into my level, or else all bets off. It's like a math teacher in the high school need to be able to show how the math works and teach the kids how to do math. So when the high school, the kids, they graduate, they know what it is. Okay? So, Jing. Why don't I talk about Jing in the yesterday's video? Jing is just a Chinese term of force. Yes, Newtonian force. Force equal to mass multiplied by the accelerations. That's all. Strength is without direction. Force is with direction. Anybody want to experience Jing or force? As a few videos ago I just shared, just get these tools. Be able to do it in different plane of the body. There is force handling, Jing handling. Okay? There's no such thing as this style of Jing, that style of Jing. Jing is Jing, force is force. Okay? The issue is that can you manipulate the force in the 3 plane of motion, and you'll be able to drive it. And when you are good, you can drive it in different parts of the body, that's all. So that's why I don't want to use the term like Jing. I'm telling you what it is, why it is, how it is, so you'll be able to get it. And also, this is not something for showing off, like every educations. We need to know how to behave properly. Like I always saying that learning nuclear physics is not keeping thinking, oh, I want to do a nuclear weapon, I want to destroy this guy or that guy. Those type of mentality is really sick. In fact, in the Shaolin Classic, it written black and white. One should not have those type of hatred hardened. It's very different than movie. Hong Kong movie saying Wing Chun secret of the heart, the mind secret is have this hatred. Those are misleading. Those are screwing up everybody. Okay? But Shaolin Classic, Shaolin Short Strike Classic, black and white. It's not for me, okay? So, that is Jing. Now, most people in traditional Chinese martial art today do not have a complete view of what is going on. Keeping talking about Jing, 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 Jing. Short Jing, long Jing, but what is Jing? Well, as a human, we know that that is very fundamental. There's muscular strength, which is the ability to exert force. Ability to exert force. Ability to exert force. And there's power, or sometimes we call it explosiveness. That is defined as the ability to exert force rapidly. That is power. Now, that is muscular endurance. There is the ability for the muscle to perform tasks effectively, efficiently, for a long period of time. Muscle endurance. Okay? So you have the strength, you have the power, you need the muscle endurance. You look at those people who promote this magic gym. Look at their muscle. Do they have the muscular endurance? Can they define what is strength? What is explosiveness? If not, what are they selling? And are you going to buy into those things? Again, we need to live in reality. That's why you want to develop strength, power, muscular endurance. Usually we do this isokinetics. A lot of strength. And guess what? This is the same thing our MMA friend is using. And there are many ways of developing the strength. Okay? And this is, entire thing is dynamic. Okay? So, we are using the same standard with our MMA friends. That's how we need to do it. If one wants to be even better into power, accelerations, then we are using this. This is what the sport teams use for develop power and accelerations. Well, this is the standard. Because be it you are in Olympic, in MMA games, those are the standard trainer for strength, power, muscular endurance. This is reality. You're going to tell me about, I stand in this stance. I use my spine power, mind power. You must be kidding. You look at their muscle, how they develop their muscle. You look at the muscle of the MMA player, the Olympic player. Those development is needed for the strength, power, and muscular endurance. You look at all those chi people. How is it compared with this MMA player and the Olympic player? Can it compare? Very obvious one is like when Xu Xiaodong fight that Tai Chi Lei Lei. Look at the muscle type. Look at the strength, the explosiveness or power of Xu Xiaodong. And of course, when you talk about power, you are exerting force rapidly. And you look at the endurance. Can that Tai Chi Lei Lei, who is quote-unquote a grandmaster, compare with Xu Xiaodong's body condition? Can other fighter who fight Xu Xiaodong have a better conditioning? compare with Xi Xiaodong. You know, those traditional Chinese martial grandmaster who fight him. So, it is the time to live in reality, not living in fantasy. And again, this channel is for educations and technology. We look into the ancient Chinese culture. We need to map or convert what is the idea of the ancient to today's, because there's a responsibility. If I call myself a Wing Chunner, even though I'm a nobody, it is a responsibility to tell the truth, to present the truth, so other people know what it is. Okay? So I don't want to use the word Jing. Why are you using the word Jing? What is the point to train all this Jing, Jing, Jing? If you want to play in Olympic, in the ring, test it with this, train it with this, develop it with this. Now, of course, you look at those people who train Jing, and so I keep saying, and yesterday I showed purposely the Zone 1, Xing Ti to Dan Tian, can they develop that? So, you see, now in this channel, I present you a system what the ancient is presenting. It is an education. Sure, everybody can do what they want. They are free to do. This democratic world. One can believe in any type of religion they want. It's not our business. But, for example, if we talk about the Buddhism meditations, then we have to follow the scriptures. Not just I invent my stuff and then I call it certain thing. And as the Buddhism said, follow the Dharma, the teaching of the Buddha, not following anybody's claim. That's what exactly it has to be done. If it's presenting the ancient culture. And this is what I'm doing in this channel too. Well, you know, business and money. Well, money, we all want money. But there's proper way to earn it. And also, as what I say, I'm just a hobbyist. So I only coach a few people if it is the right person. Because I don't want anybody who do the same as my mistake before. I giving informations and people go sell these informations. And that is not right, because if you don't have it in your body, you're selling this thing. That's called selling the emperor's new dress. And we all have the responsibility. Because this is a culture, nobody have the right to screw things because of their own interests or to exploit things. So, this is what I like to share with you today. You want Jing? It's better to develop it this way. This way. And if you want the power and acceleration, this way. Okay? So we all live in the same standard with our MMA friends, with our fitness friends, and we are with our Olympics friends. Only that way we can stand tall. Only that way we can improve. Not living in our own nutshells. And that's why I don't use the term Jing. As many of you know, I don't even want to use my Chinese name. When one of the students, which is the grandmaster, said, well, Hendrik, why don't you change back to your Chinese name? Because you sound like a South American. I said, what's wrong with South American? We are equal. If you read the Zen Sutta, the Six Patriarch Sutta, the Six Patriarch say, does Buddha nature discriminate between the people from the north of China or from the south of China? Because at that time they look at the southern Chinese is not civilized. So there's a question raised, so the Six Patriarchs say, does Buddha nature discriminate who is higher class, who is lower class? No, everything is equal. It is only proper behavior, proper character, and constructive attitude, constructive problem-solving mentality, which is important. Not what race one from, what culture one from, or what country one from. It is Buddhism, right? Shaolin is a Buddhist art. So we need to follow that. And Shaolin is not promoting fighting. I can beat you, I'm number one. Well, after 60 years, what do you get if you keep promote that? Do you have your technology become better? So in this channel, we do it differently. We do it as an education. We do it like university. You see what you get. And if I want to tell you something, I better be able to do it, and I better be able to train somebody or coach somebody to be able to do it. Otherwise, it's nonsense. It's unrepeatable magic. And the title doesn't mean much, like Sifu. Why we call people Sifu? We call people Sifu out of respect. Okay? Because they have a high moral code. It's not that everybody put a Sifu behind their name. I'm Sifu Hendrik. Sifu what? Do we have the moral standard there? So that people respect you, they call you Sifu. And today the same thing, Grandmaster, Sifu. Well, Grandmaster of what? Sifu of what? So Chinese culture is really strict. Chinese culture is not playing around like in the Hong Kong or Chinese Kung Fu movie.